Hi, I'm David. Today's practice is a gentle yoga practice that will integrate a back bend, some spinal twisting, and some forward folding. You will need a pillow or a bolster of some type if you have it. If you're lacking either, you can always grab a few blankets and roll them up onto a roll. So if you need to, feel free to pause the video to go and grab those things and come back when you're ready to get started. For now, though, when you're ready, we'll begin with a breathing practice. So with your bolster near your side readily available, just sit up tall in some comfortable way. Let your hands rest in your lap, and then close your eyes and redirect your focus to your breath. At first, just pay close attention to your inhaling and your exhaling. If your mind swerves away from your breath, just like you were guiding a car back onto a road, redirect to your breathing over and over again. And then lift your right hand all the way up to your face and place the tip of your index and middle finger directly between your eyebrows. Use your thumb to block your right nostril. Breathe in deeply as you can through the left. And then exhale out the left. And again, the same thing. Massive breath in through the left. Out through the left. And continue on your own, self-paced. Really big breaths in and really big breaths out. All channeled through your left nostril. Focus on your breath stream as it exits your lungs. Focus on your breath stream as it fills your lungs up to the brim. Just like before, notice when your mind wanders, and every time that happens, redirect. A few more rounds of that singular nostril breath. And for the moment, drop your hand down to your lap and breathe all the way in as deeply as you're able. And exhale all of your air. Take the next few moments to breathe normally, and just as you did before, pay close attention to your breath. Then join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Bring to mind someone you would like to dedicate today's practice to. Send your person some good energy mentally. And when you're ready, then open your eyes. So today we'll start out with a supported form of the cobra stretch. So grab your bolster, put it up near the front of the mat with at least a foot's worth of space ahead of the bolster so you have room to place your elbows and your arms. When you're ready, go ahead and switch your position so that the bolster rests under your ribs. And take your elbows over the edge of the bolster, your pillow roll or blanket roll instead. And then for the moment, interlace your hands if you're comfortable with that, or alternatively, let your arms be placed so that your forearms are parallel to either side of your mat. And for the next few moments, press your elbows down into the earth and just lift your collarbones up to get a slight and gentle back bend. If you need to decrease the stretch, you can always lower your chest just a bit by sinking your ribs down toward the pillow. If you wish to increase the stretch, you can always lift your collarbones just a little higher until you feel some contraction in your back. Now this time around, just let your eyes close for a little bit. And do your best to completely and utterly relax everywhere. Scan throughout your body, and if you find some specific muscle group that feels a little tense or tight, just try to release that gripping mentally. Feel it relaxing, unclenching like a softly unclenching fist. If it helps, take some deep breaths all at the same time. Slow inhales and slow exhales. And then once your body feels relatively relaxed, muscles releasing, try to maintain that relaxed state as you lift your collarbones just a slight bit higher to deepen the pose. At the same time, press down through your elbows. And again, shift awareness inside. Find spaces that are resistant or perhaps a little tense. And mentally, try to relax those areas for now. Just imagine the tension melting away until you actually feel softening in your muscles. Support that work with some deep breaths in and deep breaths out again. As you breathe, feel your inhales pulsing sideways out into the ribs. As you exhale, feel your breath pulling back into center, ribs contracting. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And this pose is really amazing counterbalance to all the sitting that many of us do all the time. You have to sit regularly, the upper back rounds substantially, the belly muscles become tight, and the chest muscles as well. Cobra pose, when regularly done, can help to counteract that. And once again, scan throughout your whole entire body and your back muscles in particular. If you find a spot that feels tense or resistant, just try to mentally relax some of that tension. If it helps, you can even lower your chest down just a little bit until you feel the tension softening. And then just once more, if you wish to deepen, lift your collarbones just a little higher while trying to maintain that relaxed overall feeling. No force or strain. And some deep breaths again. And for the moment, lower your chest just a little bit so you can more easily plant your hands near either side of the bolster. Press yourself all the way upward and out of that one. Now next, we are going to open your chest muscles with a reclining twist. So place the bolster near the left side of your mat. And with feet extended forward, lay down on your back. Now today, slide your bolster down a little bit until the bolster is about even with your hip. You can switch that placement a bit if necessary, but you want it far enough down to allow your arms to extend out to the sides fully. Now once you've reached your arms out, and once your body is forming a T-like shape with your palms facing up, cross your right knee directly over top of left knee and try to stack one knee above the other. Alternatively, if that doesn't work, you can skip the leg cross and just touch the inner edges of your knees together instead. Now, slide your hips over to the right just a little bit. Once you've done that, drop your knees over to the left toward the bolster and let them come down to contact it. Now again, if that leg cross position is too much, you can keep your legs together instead. If your knees sort of fly apart and that's not possible, you can also put the bolster directly between your knees for another alternative to the twist. Feel free to experiment around with those to see which option is going to work the best for you. And then once you've settled in, just scan throughout your body and sense where the tension lies. Well, first, you don't really have to do anything about it at all. Just sort of observe, relax while observing, and see what you've got to work with on this side. Once you find perhaps one or two spots that feel really, really tense, more so than the others, Hone in on those spaces mentally. And just imagine the tense space melting like melting ice. Imagine the heat of your gaze directing warmth there. And breath by breath by breath, just watch the tension begin the process of melting away. Once one spot sort of releases, shift awareness to a new spot if you found it, and do the same. Let the warmth of your gaze melt the tension away. And then back to your focus on deepening inhales and deepening exhales. As you breathe in, feel your breath pulsing horizontally out into your ribs. As you breathe out, feel your ribs closing. Squeeze down with your belly to breathe out all of the air. Deep horizontal breaths in. Slow and gradual breaths out. For the next few moments, let these be some of the deepest breaths of your day. And as you continue breathing, holding the posture like that, you're getting a solid opening in your chest muscles, as well as some opening in the hip and some muscles of your back. At some point, as you continue to hold, it's altogether possible that your arms will start to feel pins and needles, so your hands will start to feel a little sleepy. If that occurs, feel free to make your hands into fists a few times, which can sometimes release some of that. If that doesn't work, feel free to lower your elbows down ever so slightly closer to your hips until that sensation of tingling passes. Even so, try to maintain a height in your arms that gives you stretch in your chest muscles. For the final few moments of this posture, just keep breathing and doing your best to relax. Let gravity do all the work for you. With your next inhale, sweep your knees back up and center your hips with the midline of your mat. And we'll go for the same posture over there on the other side. So grab your bolster, your pillow, or your blanket roll and just slide it over. Remember, you want to have it placed near your hip such that you can extend your arms out to the sides without making contact with the bolster. Now, if you did one of those alternative leg positions, feel free to do that straight away at the outset. Otherwise, wrap your right knee, or your left knee rather, over top of right and slide your hips all the way over to the left. Once you've done that, slowly and gradually drop your knees right until they come down onto the bolster. If that's uncomfortable, remember you can put the bolster between your knees, or you can lay the edge of your right knee on the bolster with both knees touching. You'll get the best stretch with your arms extended out parallel to the back of the room that you're in, or perpendicular to your spine. So just make sure you're forming a T-like shape with your arms in relation to your spinal column. And shift awareness inside, and because both sides of the body are different for us all, just pay attention to where you feel the resistance on this side. And send awareness to one of those spaces that's resistant. And as you direct the warmth of your gaze to that specific point of tension, actively imagine the tension melting and releasing. Any gripping just melting away. Once you can sense a feeling of softness in that tension, consider redirecting awareness to another point and doing the same process again. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. As you breathe in, feel the bottom rim of your ribs opening and expanding outward like the bottom of an umbrella opening. And as you exhale, feel the bottom of your rib cage contracting into center like an umbrella closing. Huge breaths in and huge breaths out. Even as you continue to breathe, just keep relaxing. And the next time you inhale, sweep the knees all the way back up and center your hips with the midline of your mat. Now, you won't need the bolster for the next one, so just slide it out of the way or keep it as it is. And to stretch your hip in preparation for a forward fold, cross your right ankle over your left leg until it forms a figure four-like shape. If you want to modify, use your right hand to press your right knee away from your body. Alternatively, you could thread the needle. If you're going for that, you might consider belly crunching up so you can interlace your hands in front of your left shin, then recline backward onto the mat until your head comes back into contact with the earth. This one tends to collapse your chest, so squeeze your shoulders back in together so you maintain a really open heart and chest. As you draw your left leg towards you, gently press your right knee away. At the same time, try to flatten the back of your pelvis on the ground. Sort of press your hip creases away from your body toward the front of the mat, and oftentimes you'll be rewarded with a slightly deeper hip opening stretch. This one's a little more intense and a little more active, so we won't hold it nearly as long as the previous option. Even so, do your best to relax mentally the tension that you feel and experience in your right hip. And then let it go. Take your left foot all the way back down to the mat. And then cross your left leg over in a figure four-like shape. Take a moment to maybe shake your hands a little bit to release your grip. Now, if threading the needle and binding the leg is too much, it's absolutely okay. You can use your left knee to press your knee away from the body, and it will still give you a really good hip opening. Now, if you do want more, I personally find it easier to sort of belly crunch up so I can fully feed my arm through the leg. You then want to interlace your hands in front of your shin, though you could also grab your hamstrings if you wish. Recline backward onto the mat. Now, if squeezing your shoulders backward and together felt sort of awkward, you can also open your chest by sliding your shoulder blades away from your ears toward your belt. Either way, you just want a fairly neutral chest. Once you've found your way to that position, drag your right knee toward you. You don't have to really emphasize pressing your left knee away much, but if you do press it away to some degree, it'll give you a deeper stretch. Breathe normally this time around. Just pay attention to where the stretch is affecting. Direct your gaze to any points of tension that you might be feeling. Just imagine that tension again. At some point as you pull back, the rear of your pelvis might try lifting off the floor. That will decrease the stretch. So if you can, press your hip creases away from your body toward the front of your mat and try to put the back of your pelvis on the mat to the best of your ability. Even as you hold your leg, try to relax your grip. Just a little bit more time in that one. And then for now, let it go. And place both feet on the floor with legs uncrossed. Maybe make your hands into a fist a few times to wake up your hands and forearms again. And give your wrists a shake. Now, the next posture is a seated single-legged forward fold. So just roll over onto one side to get there and press yourself all the way upright. Now, you want to use the bolster again for this one. So grab a hold of it and place the bolster on top of your right leg. Your left foot is drawn toward your right inner thigh to just sort of get it out of the way. If it's hard to get your knee down to the floor, you can always take your foot just a little further forward, which will put less pressure on your knee. Otherwise, just drag your heel back toward your inner thigh to the best of your ability. Now in this one, if your toes splay outward, you'll lose some of the stretch in a portion of your hamstrings. So try to keep your toes pointed straight up throughout. Pull the bolster back against your belly, press down on it so you can sort of hook the bottom ridge over it, and then reach your hands all the way forward toward the edge of the bolster. With a relatively long spine, just begin forward leaning. Now you may well get plenty of stretch up there. If you want more stretch, you can always reach out to grab your foot to hold it in place, though that's truly not altogether necessary. And draw your chin ever so slightly downward. And just begin relaxing again as you focus on normal and natural breaths. If it feels okay to drop your chin toward your chest, and eventually to place your forehead on the bolster, feel free to take it down. Otherwise, follow the alternative and keep your head slightly lifted like me. As you continue to hold, imagine that your breath were like a paintbrush. Draw your inhales from your heel up to your sitting bone. Imagine that you could brush your exhales from your sitting bone on the right leg back down to your heel. And just keep sending your breath sweeping up and down the back of your leg. With every sweep, imagine your breath sweeping tension away. As you continue breathing deeply like that, pay attention to any release. If your body does allow, then just forward lean a little bit at a time to increase your depth. Otherwise, know that it's absolutely okay to simply maintain. No need to go deeper unless today's your day. And deepest inhales and exhales you can draw. The next time you inhale, sit all the way up. Rotate your torso off to the right for just a moment and gaze backward over your shoulder there. And then the same posture on the other side. Draw your foot into the inner thigh again. Once you've extended the other leg, place the bolster on top of it so you have some additional support. Now, I always like to press the bolster down so I can hook the bottom of my ribs over it. You might try that as well, though. If you can't quite get it down that far, it's definitely okay for more of your chest to be laying on the bolster. Now, take an eye on that foot. Mine oftentimes tries to splay out automatically, but you'll get a better and more effective stretch if your toes point up. Remember, it's definitely okay to grab the edge of the bolster as you forward lean. You'll still get an amazing stretch. If you can easily reach out without force to grab the foot, that's another option. Forward lean until you feel some resistance and stretching. Let your eyes close so you can more fully visualize. And imagine you could sweep your breath up and down the back of your leg again. Draw your inhales from heel to sitting bone, really big breaths in. Send your exhales from your sitting bone back down to your heel. And continue on over and over. No need to deepen by force. Just try to relax, and if gravity happens to pull you deeper into the posture, allow it to. Otherwise, like before, know that it's great to just maintain where you are. If it feels okay for you, you can always curl your chin gently to your chest and take your forehead closer to the bolster, even all the way down onto it if it works. Sometimes as you do that, it'll give you a slightly deeper stretch in some muscles in your back. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. For the next few moments, keep breathing deeply. Do your best to relax. Then use your next inhale to sit up again. This time, place your left hand behind you, rotate your chest left, and gaze straight backward over your shoulder to sort of reset your spine. And take a few deep breaths in that position there. And then releasing the twist. Find your way to a comfortable cross-legged position of some type. And for the next few moments, sit up really tall and close your eyes. And feel your entire body, everything from the crown of your head down to the tips of your toes. Sense any changes on the inside. Points where you feel perhaps lighter. Spots that were previously tense that are now starting to wake up and release. And your state of mind as well. And for the final few moments, redirect all of your awareness to the tip of your nose. And just pay very close attention to your inhale and your exhale. And join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Remember the person that you dedicated your practice to. Pray for or wish for their happiness and their well-being. Take a moment to be grateful for the gift of another day. And if you wish, repeat after me. May all sentient beings everywhere experience peace.